She said, oh, it's infected. I said, what do you mean infected? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is gonna be a story time about how I bust up my foot in Jamaica. Today's the first time I went to the gym since the unfortunate incident happened. And everybody was like, where have you been? How come you skipping out? They thought I just fell off my routine. And this is probably the 100th time I've had to tell this story. So I'm just gonna make a video. And if anybody asks me, Shanice, what happened to your foot? Where you been? What's up? I'm gonna just give them the link to this video. So for the holidays, my family decided we were gonna go to Jamaica to see some family. We stayed in a villa. We just wanted to have a nice vacation. And we were there for 7 days. And it was a great 7 days. I went to 2 reunions. It was great. I ate some good food. So on the second last day of the trip, it was the 27th of December. I said, you know what? Since I'm leaving tomorrow, let me just relax. I'm gonna go swim. I'm gonna do some laps. I can't swim. So I was doggy paddling. I said, I'm gonna do some doggy paddling. And I'm gonna just relax for my last day. I didn't really have any plans. So that's what I was just gonna do. My brother was giving me some swim techniques. We were just duking it out. Yeah, my 8-year-old brother was teaching me how to swim. So what? Sue me. I finished doing my laps and I felt really relaxed. Got at the pool, had my wet and wavy hair on, so it was, dripping down, glistening. I was in the hot sun. I felt really cute. My plan was to go inside, wash my hair, take a shower, change my clothes, and read a book and just relax for the rest of the day, because we had to take my sister to the airport. So I'm coming out of the pool, and before I knew it, I was on the ground. I fell into a split. And the impact was so crazy. I literally bounced on my butt on the floor. So everybody was almost laughing, they were looking at me, they were laughing. They're like, oh, are you okay? Are you okay? Because I fell into a split. One leg was in front of me, one leg was behind me. All I felt was the impact on my booty. So my biggest concern was get up and walk it off. So when I come now to get myself out of that awkward position, I bring my other foot around me. Is my foot not cut open? Like you're seeing flesh in my foot. It was like a diamond shape. It was bad. I was looking at my foot and it was almost surreal. I didn't feel any pain and it wasn't even bleeding yet. I was just looking, I was like, is that my flesh? Really? I was just in shock because I was like, I'm seeing my flesh right now. I don't think I'm supposed to see that part of my foot. My dad comes outside running. He looks at it. He said some expletives. My dad wrapped it with some gauze and wrapped it up with some tape. Literally probably the worst wrap job you've ever seen in your life. It was like tape just round, no kind of pattern. It wasn't neat, whatever. Honestly, I didn't think it was anything bad. I just thought we were gonna wrap it up, take my sister to the airport, come back home. I changed the gauze, cleaned it up a bit, and then the next day I was coming back home to Canada anyway, so I wasn't really concerned about it. So he wrapped it up. I put a cute dress on, a cute skirt. Went to go drop my sister to the airport. So as we're dropping her to the airport and I'm sitting in the back of the car, my foot is throbbing. Now I'm starting to feel the pain. And as I'm walking on it, I'm feeling pain. So I'm starting to limp now. And I'm just feeling like my foot just swell and it was getting really painful. In my head, I was like, oh, it's because, my feet are down in the back of the car. Maybe I just need to elevate them. I'll be fine. By the time, my sister said she wants to go back to Canada with a bucket of chicken. So we were ghetto and we stopped at KFC on our way to the airport. When we were in line at KFC and I looked down at the gauze in my foot, full of blood, full of blood. And I was like, oh, this is unfortunate. So once my dad saw that, he was like, no, I'm taking you to the hospital. So what we did, we finished getting the food, of course. Then we dropped my sister to the airport and went to Hospiten. That's what they called it. I think it's a private hospital in Montego Bay. So went there, get in line, and I don't think anybody really believed I was sick because I was in a maxi skirt, a deep V top. I was on vacation, okay? I needed to wear the last of my cute outfits. So I was in my Fenty slippers. I probably look like the most bougie injured person there was, but I wanted to be cute. When I finally went to go see the nurse, she unwrapped it and she looked at my foot and she was like, how did this happen? Like, your note says slip and fall, but like, this is bad. And I was like, how else do you explain that you were coming out of a pool and you literally just slipped and bust up your foot? So I'm waiting, the doctor comes in, the doctor looked at my foot, said some kind of codes to the nurse, and the doctor leaves. So the nurse is telling me to go in another room now. And I'm looking at her like, nobody said anything to me. What's about to happen to my foot? She's like, oh, you need stitches. I said, stitches? I'm sorry, what? So yeah, that was the thing. She's like, you're gonna need stitches. It's really big, it's really deep. I don't think it's gonna heal well if you just leave it that way. So we need stitches so that, you know, it's just a small wound, just to close up the wound. And I was like, oh, like FMO. I had stitches on my knee a long time ago. Not a good experience. Not to mention, this is happening in Jamaica, where I am not a resident. I am not a citizen of Jamaica. I'm not a resident of Jamaica. So all this time this is happening, they're telling me prices and things. I had to pay like, I had to pay $302 US just to see somebody in the emergency room. So that doesn't include what they had to do on my foot. This is just for me to see somebody, for them to tell me what's wrong with my foot. Okay, so anyway, they put me in the next room. So I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for my impending doom, because I'm literally scared out the wazoo that they're about to start stitching my foot up. This is not what I planned for. I wanted to go home, have a nice drink, and just relax. And honestly, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. It hurt, don't get me wrong, it hurt, but it wasn't as bad as it was gonna be. She gave me the needles, she stitched it up, and then they tell me, okay, here's some pain medication, a prescription for pain medication, and a prescription for some antibiotics. This happened on the 27th of December. It's an observed holiday, so not everywhere is open. Literally had to drive to St. James, which is like 45 minutes away from the hospital that we were at. Had to drive there because that was the only pharmacy that was open. Get there, my dad went in to get the meds for me. When they come back to the car, they brought the meds with the news that, yeah, no alcohol while you're taking this antibiotics. Do you know? Remember, this is the 27th of December, so New Year's is coming. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not an alcoholic, but I do enjoy a good drink. You're telling me New Year's is coming and I can't even have one drink? Because the antibiotics was for 7 days. So 7 days, no drinking. New Year's is coming, no drinking. Really? This is perfect. The next day, came home, I got wheelchair service on the plane. And listen, Air Canada was trying me on the plane. When I got to the airport in Jamaica, told them what happened. I went through the airport, no problem. When I got Toronto now, and I'm getting off the plane, they look at me and they're like, you need a wheelchair? So what, I can't need a wheelchair because I'm young? Like, because I don't have a big air cast or crutches, I don't need a wheelchair? Yes, I need a wheelchair. Because you know what I'm not gonna do? I'm not about to stand up in an hour in a customs line with my swollen foot. That's what's not gonna happen. So yes, I need a wheelchair. And then the person that's pushing me is like, so how many pieces of luggage do you have? I had my 8-year-old brother with me, so I had my luggage and his luggage. So I explained this to the gentleman. He goes, we're not allowed to push your luggage, we're only allowed to push you. So unless you're gonna pay somebody, we're gonna have to drop you right here. And he literally drops me at the luggage carousel. So can you imagine me on my one foot? My 8-year-old brother is like, what's this? What's this? Can I go over here? Can I go over here? I'm trying to get the luggage off the carousel, balancing everything that's going on around me. The airport visit in Toronto, not pleasant at all, but I didn't really have any other choice, so I dealt with it. They said in Jamaica, they said in 7 days, you should be able to get the stitches out. Went to the doctor. She took my dressing off. She said they're not ready to come off. To come back in 3 days. So I went to see her on a Wednesday. No, I went to see her on a Tuesday. So she said come back on Friday. When I went back on Friday, she said, oh, it's infected. I said, what do you mean infected? How? How could it be infected? I've been off antibiotics at this point for 3 days. How? And I haven't gone anywhere because I wasn't going to work because I couldn't walk. So I couldn't understand, what do you mean Infected how? She tells me to leave it for 3 days, and to put Fusidin, which is like an antibiotic cream, to put Fusidin on it, and come back in 3 days. So I get the Fusidin medication, and I decide I'm gonna do what she said, put it on 3 times a day, go back in 3 days, which would have been the Monday now. I go back on Monday, that doctor wasn't in, so I had to see another doctor. The doctor's like, oh, it's really infected. Mind you, at this point, my stitches are still in my foot. At this point, my stitches have been on my foot. Going like 2 weeks now, 2 weeks at this point. And she goes, oh, it's really infected. I'm like, I was just here. I was just here on Friday, and she told me that the lotion would do it, the Fusidin cream would do it. Why? What do you mean? She gives me like antibiotics I have to ingest. Another trial of antibiotics. This one I think lasted me for like a week and a half. And so she was like, yeah, you take these 4 times a day, with or without food, and come back again in 3 days. So at this point, I've been on antibiotics for like going on 4 weeks. What is life? So I take the antibiotics, I go back, which is now 2.5 weeks since I got my stitches. Go to the doctor, it's a Friday. She undresses the wound, and she's like, you know, it's not healed yet, but if I leave the stitches in any longer, that will cause an infection. So I'm gonna take the stitches out and I'm gonna tape it. So at this point, I leave the doctor, and the wound on my foot is taped together. Mind you, it's January. I live in the GTA. This means it's -10, -15, -20 degrees outside. I'm not allowed to wear socks, not allowed to wear shoes. So I'm outside in my Fenty slippers, my Fenty and my Nike slippers, because that's all I can fit my foot in. Do you know how dumb I look? My foot was still swollen, and the wound itself was like, this might be TMI. The wound itself was still oozing. It wasn't dry, like nothing like that. And they're telling me I can't put anything on it, but I'm cold and my feet are getting ashy, and they're telling me shower with your foot outside. So I had to be using my grandpa's old man chair to shower and leave one foot out. And then like, it was just a hot mess of a situation. Anyway, fast forward, this is now, I want to say 3 weeks since I took the stitches out. Today is about 3 weeks since I took the stitches out. It's not even healed yet. It's finally starting to close, thankfully. I can walk around fine without shoes, but if I put shoes on, I have a little bit of a limp because of the pressure. But for more or less, I'm healed. We thank God for grace. I'm not happy. I was not a happy camper. It was horrendous. I mean, I'm happy it happened on the second last day of my trip, because I guess it could have been worse. Like, it could have been the first day of my trip, and that would have meant I couldn't have had a drink my whole trip. I wouldn't have been able to go out my whole trip, and I would have just been miserable. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna sit here and be fat. That is a story about how I busted my foot in Jamaica. It could have been worse. I guess I could have like lost my foot. It was just a cut. I guess it was just stitches. I mean, stitches is still serious, but it could have been worse. And even though it took long, it actually did heal. So, well, it's almost healed. So I'm thankful for that. Word to the wise, if you're ever going away, wear your slippers outside the pool and try not to drop.